Former President Jacob Zuma recently expressing interest to lead the country again as head of state. Now, his comments have been likened to the attempts in the United States by that country's former president, Donald Trump, who is actively campaigning to get into office again. Now, the Zuma-Trump parallels have striking similarities in how these two former leaders are still hungry for power. So, let's speak now to political analyst Levy Ndou to discuss why some leaders just find it difficult to let go. Dr. Ndou, thank you very much for your time. Perhaps let's begin here at home. The former president, Jacob Zuma, says he wants to go back and fix things that he was not able to before he was recalled by his party. Well, should we say former party now? Although he argues very strongly, by the way, because we need to be very careful here, that he is going to die in the ANC. His words, not mine. So, what does the law tell us, though, first, about President Zuma's eligibility for office?
Good morning, Toli. Good morning to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me. Well, I think there are a few things that we need to look at in the statements that has been made by former President Jacob Zuma, that he would want to go back to office, go back to the presidency, and fix things that he should have fixed. One is that former President Jacob Zuma is quite aware that he does not qualify to stand for presidency, maybe for now, because of the conviction. At the same time, former President Jacob Zuma is also aware that he cannot contest for political office again in the ANC because he has served his term, and the ANC appears to have moved on when it comes to the leadership of the ANC and himself. So there's no way he could get back to power through the ANC. And I think that is why he spoke about having the Mkhonto weSizwe party.
Yeah.
Another dynamic, in my view, that I think we need to look at would be that former President Jacob Zuma could be aware that it would be better to use him as the face of the party and indeed focus on the naive and the apathetic constituency that is going to go back to office, so that if there are those who still believe in him, or if he's still a big factor in the South African politics, that could be the strategy to attract more votes towards his direction. Number 4, it could be that former President Jacob Zuma would want to use whatever energy and strategies he has to ensure that he brings instability and confusion within the ANC, because I think he does not want to see the ANC going back to power, especially with the current leadership.
We're going to tease out the reasons why. In the introduction, we said he is struggling to let go of power, the hunger for wanting to remain in power. So let's now use this Zuma scenario here in South Africa, but take it to America, because in the United States, it could be argued that a similar scenario is playing out, with Donald Trump wanting to get back into office. Just days ago, we were reporting about how he has won with a landslide the caucuses in Iowa. Now, the similarities we're trying to draw here is that both these men have legal issues, yet they seem to enjoy good support among staunch supporters. Why is it that you think they are so popular still?
There could be a number of reasons why the two are very popular within certain constituencies. I think it is the manner in which they communicate or talk to the different constituencies, but also at the same time the manner in which they are able to constantly associate themselves with their different constituencies and the people. The other similarity that I've seen in the two is that they always play the game of being people that are aggrieved or people that would appear not to be treated better by other people. So because they want to play the victim card, they always have something to say against the system, and that is what they use in order for them to get support and sympathy. At the same time, both of them have been in office, but the difference is that with former President Jacob Zuma, he has had his 2 terms in the party and in government, and the unfortunate part is that when the candidate that he supported could not make it, I think he felt very much aggrieved because, in my view, he always wanted to be a factor in the South African politics. But when you look at Trump, he had his term in office, and when he had to contest for another term, that is where democracy dealt with him, and he actually decided to use other means to destabilize the state and the governance of the U.S. So both of them still want to be a factor in the politics of their own countries, and my sense is that with the support that they have, they might still make it or they might not make it. But with former President Jacob Zuma, it is quite clear that if he still has the ambitions to go to the union buildings, he still has to wait and at least for another 4 or 5 years or the elections, but not definitely the 2024 elections.
Very interesting indeed. Well, here's the interesting bit, therefore, the interesting question we have been building up to, the struggle to let go of power, that grip on power. Why is it that these two are struggling to just say, this is it? Age is also not on my side. I'm okay. I'll sit at home and play with my grandchildren.
There could be a number of factors. One factor would be based on patriotism, that they could be feeling that they are very much patriotic, that they feel that they can still be able to fix the country, and not looking at what happened or what did not happen whilst they were in power. They could feel that they still have a lot to offer for the country. Another factor could be that maybe they feel that things cannot work whilst they are not there, and they constantly want to be a factor in the politics of the country. Whether their contribution is positive or negative, that is not a factor to them. And that takes us to the point that it appears as if it is not about the country or the citizens anymore. It is about themselves. And when we have got that type of a mentality, you no longer think broadly for everyone. You actually think for yourself, because it is yourself and yourself only, and you feel that others are not doing right as long as you are not involved.
Very interesting indeed. If any of the two were to have a chance to rewrite their legacies, do you think that is possible?
Well, I think it can be possible, because a human being is also defined by people who are surrounding the person. And a human being is also defined by the decisions that he or she takes, especially towards the end of his road in life. So my view is that those who are very much close to these two individuals should do them a big favor, have very honest discussions with them, so that they should not be remembered for their desire for political power, but they should also be remembered for the good things that they've done in the past.
Interesting conversation indeed. Dr. Levy Ndou, thank you very much for your time.